Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. We're a YouTube channel on the web at smartwatchticks.com. FINOW is back with us, and in this particular watch, they've combined a couple of new features that they've brought out. By the way, I love their packaging. Two new features. One is temperature monitoring, and in this nice round watch with the great big dial, they've added their rotational navigation system in here as well. I know. Most of us wouldn't think, wow, that's a big deal, unless you've been around smartwatches and see how many of them come with a knob that does nothing when you twirl it. It's about time. We're starting to see watches that you can actually use the knob. Look at this beautiful carbon fiber back, charging ports there. There's your temperature monitor and your sensor for heart rate. Before we get deeper in the box, let's take a look at it. They're calling it the K15 at their FINOW company store on AliExpress. Different pricing depending on what the combinations are, but you can check the show notes to get a link that'll take you to this buying page in right under our video and have a look at it. In terms of specs, what this thing is a 240 by 240 1.2-inch round screened watch with the new rolling menu function, body temperature, heart rate detection, blood pressures in it. It's got 22 millimeter detachable straps and, of course, all the standard functions we typically have in a smartwatch. The app is FitCloud Pro that it works with, and here's the basic specifications for the watch. Got the pedometer, fitness tracker, mood tracker, it says. Interesting. Okay. And English language. I don't know what other languages are supported. And that's about it. Okay, as we go deeper into the box, we find a manual and the little charger connector, which is, again, a standard 2-pin USB connector, as most of these watches are. Whoop. Always get it backward. Put it on that way. My strength test, it's strong enough to hold the watch, so good magnetic coupling. Plug it in, charge it, and that part's done. And then the manual. We've got a bracelet user manual, which means you may see this watch by another name by different companies. It doesn't have the actual name printed on it. There's the QR code again for downloading FitCloud Pro, or check our show notes for it. Very simple manual, just giving you a brief overview of what the watch will do. It's mostly left up to you to actually dive in and give it a try. And the other side is all Chinese. Okay, let's charge it up. Well, with one button that sticks out quite a ways, it's obvious what we got to press to get it to turn on. Holding, vibrated, says hello, and it pops right into our opening watch face, which is the last one that you had on the watch. And you have about 5 or so different watch faces and a custom one that you can put in on your own if you'd like. You have the twist your wrist to see the time if you've got that thing activated. And here you simply turn to see a watch face. Now that's one of the ones you can install from the app, which I've already done. Here's another one. Wow, it's pretty bright. I think I need to dim the watch down a little bit, which I can go in here and turn it way down so it's a little bit better for the video. Let's bring it up to there. And we come back and there's that watch face. Here's another one. They got some nice analog watch faces and then this really colorful digital face. And we're back to where we started from. Okay. When we slide down, you saw we could change the brightness. You can turn it off directly from here. You got your twist your wrist to see the time, settings, and right here, oh, it goes out on me. Right here, you can go immediately into the thermometer. Yep, it does body temperature and it does skin temperature, which I'm about to show you. You see it's live, it's changing right now as it's going through this. We'll get to that in a minute. So those are all of the different factors that are available up here. Settings, we'll look at those a little bit later. When I go over to the left, you're going to get the whole app drawer that shows all of this and more. And by the and more, I mean when you go this way, there's that thermometer test again. Then you've got your step count, calories burned, and distance traveled. And heart Yeah, and calories. Yeah, yeah. Heart rate's over here on this panel. And then you've got last night's sleep time, which I haven't done yet, but it'll just give you your breakdown of time. And those are the things. It doesn't go any further. You bring it back. You can get back to the watch face. And if you come up, if you have notifications pushed from the phone, they'll show up here. Now, showed you the whole layout. I want to tell you, this is the watch that I'd want to be wearing if I we're kind of stuck in a quarantine situation with the virus, or God forbid it happened to anybody I know and I needed to monitor them but not be near them. And I'm going to put it on because I want you to see this in action. This is an exquisite design of watch capabilities as a sensor receiving node for all of your different vitals. And in combination with the paired app, it works really, really good. So let's walk through, first of all, what you can see on here. BBT. I don't know what that stands for. Belly button temperature? Bad boy temperament? What do you think BBT is? Let us know in the comments. BBT, when you hit that button. Now let me talk about this for a second. We're doing an initial temperature test. And yes, in this video, to this time, I'm going to run through all these tests because I'm going to point out some stuff you don't normally hear about in them. Starting with the temperature one. I don't know if you've seen this on some of the others. It's getting the skin surface temperature. Now I just put it back on my arm so it had dropped down a little bit. The ideal is you're going to leave it on your arm for at least 15 minutes. This is not an instantaneous reading. This is one that's going to be more accurate once it stabilizes, okay? So it is taking a while to get the skin temperature, and it continues to rise. From that, and the fact that it's actually using the green diodes down below, it's going to somehow, using an algorithm, compute your actual body temperature, and that's what shows up down here. It's changeable in the app from centigrade to Fahrenheit. You've got all those kinds of controls. So the app is really well integrated with the watch. All right, we're going to come back. Oh, there you go. Okay, 98.04 down to hundredths of a degree. I was going to say, we're going to come back and do it later because it needed for me to stabilize enough on that reading. Sport data is what we saw already. That's just basically your pedometer stuff. And then there's a whole sporting section where you have all kinds of different activities that you can choose, and whichever one you go into, jumping rope, it'll give you the countdown. It's going to give you time, heart rate, and calories burned, pretty much on all of these things, even the ones that would have distance in them, like running or walking. So as a fitness watch, I would not recommend this. You're not even getting step count versus time. So don't buy it for fitness, but if you're really looking for something that's going to do all the health functions, including temperature, and apparently do them really well, this is the way to go. You've got heart rate there. We're going to do heart rate and the other measurements actually triggered from the phone, so I'll skip that for right now. Oh, timing out on me. You've got last night's sleep, and you saw the screen on that. Blood pressure and blood oxygen. You go in them, and you're going to see you've got icons, and it's going to take it a little while, and you'll get your measurements. Which I'm going to show you. Then there's a remote music player. You've got weather, and this, again, Fahrenheit or centigrade, and just a forecast for you. You've got a stopwatch, messages, which we already saw, find your phone, and then basic settings, which now we'll go into, which was the same as up above there. You've got the selection of watch faces that you can choose right here, or, of course, you can twist the dial. You can change the overall brightness, which we've done, and this is the fun stuff now, you can change your screen time to 5 seconds to 9 seconds, although it doesn't seem like it's holding 9 seconds for me, and twist your wrist time. Usually it's about 2 seconds, but you can go up to 6 seconds with this one. So you twist your wrist, the screen's supposed to stay on for up to 6 seconds before it goes out, which is really nice if those of you who've been frustrated that you're looking at stuff on your watch and it just goes out too quickly. Vibration intensity, 3 different levels, and it's pretty good. You can feel it well. In terms of overall languages, it's Chinese and then most European languages in this one. I'll scroll through them quickly for you. Do we get them? Yeah. So not a lot of the esoteric ones you guys ask me about are on this watch. There they all are listed. And the QR code to download the Tethering app, and back to system again, which is about this watch, the K15, and shut down and reset. And I think we've covered everything here. So I'm going to get the app ready so that we can play with that. Wow, that's a bright screen, and look at that. It's down on number 2 in brightness. We're using FitCloud Pro. We've talked about this one. Good things, bad things, intermediary things. We've seen it quite a bit. Today you're going to see it again from a slightly different perspective. I'm going to open it. It goes through its opening screen. You go through setting up an account. I've got other videos that show you how to do that. Let's dim this down a little bit so it's not too bright. There we go. There, it just synchronized. You see it brought over the step count and all that kind of stuff. Here's what's so cool about this particular app and its interface with this particular watch. You've got temperature, heart rate, blood oxygen, and blood pressure. It's last night's sleep time as well, but all those other factors are sitting here and are accessible in a one-touch button that will run through and do all of these measurements. Takes about a minute, and it'll settle each and every one of them down to give you an instantaneous reading. Now, I'm envisioning as somebody that's sick with COVID is laying and wearing this watch, and somebody who's monitoring them to see if they're doing okay or they may need to go to the hospital can just call up the app, hit health measurement, and get a synopsis of all of the things you need to know: your blood oxygen, your overall blood pressure and heart rate, and the body temperature. That would be great. And this one will do it. And it does it with this watch. But I'm not going to do the one-time thing. I want to show you each of these separately. When we go into temperature, you saw that we just did that. And here's a reading for it. And look at this. It's giving you your highest, average, and lowest over time. So I've got it in continuous monitoring mode so you can track. Now we're going to get into some statistics, gang. There's your hardcore number, 98.36, okay? And then there's your deviation from that hardcore number, and 97 to 98 is the range right now. So you've got the opportunity to compare readings to see, first of all, are they reasonable? And secondly, what's your feel for that? Is this a high temperature? Is somebody sick? Would they need to go to the hospital if their readings over the last 24 hours, 2 hours, whatever, is between 97 and 98? Probably they're okay. But if this is 103 to 104, yeah, you're going to have some challenges. It's good to have one number that you stick your thermometer under your tongue and you've got it. But that's just one number. Even that number is not necessarily 100% accurate. It's within a tolerance zone of being correct. And this gives you that tolerance zone. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Shows you your overall references, knowledge and information about temperature. Really, really good. That's on the temperature. And of course, you can hit start and create an instantaneous reading. And all of this is for your long-term monitoring of continuous heart rate. Let's go into something like heart rate itself. That was temperature. Heart rate itself. This is what I want to show you. Here we go. I've got some numbers that are already in here, but I'm going to start one. And the watch doesn't even light up. It does. Well, it did because I twisted it. But if I were laying in bed, what I'm getting at is you don't even have to wake a patient or anything. The watch is acting as a transmitting sensor node without even having to activate. Gives you longer life that way, and you don't even need to worry about it. You're looking here. So you see it's doing a countdown, and now it acquired its first reading, 65. Now you see this happen on a lot of different watches when they're doing the initial test. They grab a number, and then it starts to ramp up or ramp down or change a little bit back and forth around that number as it's honing in on what it's going to give you as the best and final answer. The answer is, and it's going to give you that degree. Well, that may or may not be your true heart rate. Most likely, it's close. And how close is it? that's where you've got these ranges, okay? So see, it's kind of jumping up and down. It's settling at 71 as the average. You saw it moving, and when it finished, it picked the average, and it derived that out of the spread of 65 to 75. So that's kind of wide. I would say I might want to take that again. That's 10 points difference. It's not like critical. I'm not 150 to 160, you know. But if I really wanted it more refined, I would do this again and STF up. I think you can figure that out. I would just be quiet, and that would give me and calm and still, and I would most likely get a better, closer range of deviation. And that gives me a sense for how accurate this is as to what's the variability in the highest and lowest. Doesn't so much apply to heart rate. That's a pretty simple one. But man, let me tell you, when you get into blood pressure, you're talking about, this is a tricky area because there is no real individual blood pressure measurement when you consider how it's done with a cuff. It's listening to the sound when it first makes a noise of a certain repetitive beat of your heart as the air is oozing out and the pressure is dropping, and you're catching it at a particular time. Yeah, you take 3 different readings and you'll get 4 different answers. The question is, are they all close or are they far apart? If they're all spread out far apart, then you're getting bad readings and you need to, change your position, start all over again. 131 over 77. Now look at it. It jumped here and it's jumping again, but it's tracking all of that stuff. So when it's all said and done, after 30 seconds, it's going to give me a high and a low with an average, and I'll be able to say, okay, I'm between 120 and 132, and it's telling me my estimated blood pressure is 127 over 75, and then I can kind of gauge it. You know, it's like, I think I'm lower than that, or I think I'm higher than that, or I think this is way off, I'm going to do it again. The point I'm making is, yes, like all the other watches and all the other apps, you're getting data. But how believable is that data, and how much can you use your own judgment in the believability of that data? With this app and with this watch and with FINOW's implementation on this, I'm getting a much happier feeling in my gut that the numbers I'm looking at are things I can use. I'm not going to say they're accurate, but I'm also not going to say they're not accurate. I'm going to say they're giving me an estimate with a spread, and with that information and a gut feel for, is my blood oxygen probably above 95, or am I gasping for breath and am I about 85? You know, you just got to put it into real world situation. And this can be helpful, seeing the spread as well as the final number, especially if you're in another room when somebody is laying in an isolated bedroom or something, wearing this watch and working on getting through a really bad sickness, and you're monitoring them without waking them. Beautiful, beautiful. And I really like this. Okay, it stopped. We're at 97 and a spread from 96 to 99, and there's the numbers. And so you've got different days, different numbers, you know, and all that's tracked as well. Oh, yeah, and this one, oh, there it brought it up. This is the continuous blood oxygen monitoring chart here, okay? Wow, how could it go above 100? That's interesting. I thought it was 100% saturation. How can you get 110? Maybe they got to work on that chart. But you saw that on the other ones too. I go into blood pressure, and here is, wow, 102 to 144. I would say I probably was moving around a lot when it was taking the blood pressures at different times during this window from 10:26 this morning to 1:24 this afternoon. And probably the end points could be thrown out, but maybe on average, I'm around 125 over 73. Different ways of looking at all of this. Okay, so that's this whole section. Again, if I hit health measurement, I get one single number on all of these after about a minute's worth of testing. The rest of this you've seen in the other apps the other watches and bands that we've covered that use this particular app. So I won't go into a lot of detail. I will point out that you can set dials from here, and one of them that I showed you, forget which one, this one here, that's the one that I downloaded on here. And again, I can get to it just by turning. I kind of like that one for nighttime. It's nice and soft and gold and goes well with the band, but you can pick any of these other ones here. Don't see a way to do a custom band. Maybe, I think this one, I don't know, Edit just lets you throw them away. So on this app, I'm not sure you can create your own, but you can choose from the ones that are there. You definitely want to turn on enhanced measurement, enable your twist your wrist to see it, continuous monitoring. Those two you want turned on if you're going to do the long-term averages of all of your different readings. And the rest is just up to you, left or right, 12 or 24 hour. And then in the Mind, you put in your basic information. You can connect with Google Fit so you can transfer the data over there. But remember, the fitness stuff is pretty lame. There's no GPS. It doesn't monitor step count when you're running or walking. Use a different watch for fitness. Units and all that stuff are here. Settings and suggestions that you can send in. But basically, it comes back to this home page. And this is all it's about. You wear the thing, you get your vitals, you get your step counts, basically use it for that. So all in all, for a fitness watch, you can do better. But for a health monitoring, health screening device, this is top notch, including temperature. It's taking its good sweet time, using an algorithm that also incorporates the green diodes back there somehow to compute what your actual body temperature is from the skin temperature over time that it's reading it. You can pick this up from FINOW directly in their AliExpress store. We've got a link in the show notes that'll click you right over to this buying page, and they get a notification that you're buying it from Watching Mr. Tick. So I appreciate it if you use our links. That'll help us get more watches from these guys as well as the other folks, and we'll be back to show you more. Thanks for watching.